Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Big Man Boisterous coming to you with part 2 of Platinum League Pandemonium between our two sides, ZayJay the Red Terran and his opponent Lemon the Blue Protoss. As this second part starts up, just to summarize what just happened, we just had a drop by ZayJay that sniped off an engineering bay that was researching armor, so that was a fairly good pick-off for him. He did lose 2 medevacs full of marauders though, which is a pretty heavy thing, and it looks like Lemon is gonna move out, but a lucky scan by ZayJay might give him a hint that this is happening, and he's gonna move out himself, which I don't really agree with. I mean, he has a lot of Viking and air control, but he doesn't need that air control right now. He's gonna need that air control later, but with 1 medevac and 1 Viking, it's not gonna be that useful. Lemon is actually picking a really bad engagement here. He's just running right into the tanks of the enemy player and not killing nearly enough. I think that in theory ZayJay could just charge this line and be perfectly fine. I don't think he's going to do it, but he definitely could. But both of those players are just gonna say, okay, looks like ZayJay won that fight, but I'm gonna back off because I have 4 bases. Like, his main isn't even mined out and he's on 4 bases. That's pretty ridiculous. I'm surprised he's not just going for the ridiculously economic lead and taking this base and this base, because he has the minerals to do it. I don't think he has quite enough production to support this many bases. I think he's stockpiling a lot of money, and he's only at 155 supply. He needs 2 or 3 more barracks to really be able to effectively use all of these bases. And I think that might be ZayJay's key to crawling back into this game, is the fact that his opponent isn't really being all that effective with all these bases, plus the fact that this base is just so vulnerable and he refuses to defend it. I mean, this base is just, it would just be so easy to take out. Not only is it not a planetary, but it also has no defensive units around it. It looks like this army is going to move out. I think he might have scouted this third going up. Yeah, he did scan it. So this army is going to move out to try to prevent this third from going down, which is a pretty good move. If he can snipe this third while it's building a planetary, that's going to be pretty amazing. Or if he can get it low while it's building and then just completely kill it off. But it looks like it's going to get cancelled and just lift it off. And that's the issue of having nothing that shoots up in your army. I think that if ZayJay just went for a really ballsy switch to something like Banshee Viking Raven or Banshee Viking Battlecruiser or something crazy like that, he could just easily just steamroll this army and win the game. Because he has the tank backbone to defend his base, and he has the marauder backbone to defend this base. If he had like 4 to 6 Banshees to just completely kill off this army, he'd be perfectly fine. I'm surprised he's not driving forward with his Vikings to snipe off these medevacs, because these medevacs are going to be pretty crucial in this upcoming battle, as they're really what's allowing these marauders to stim up and right into it. But it looks like it doesn't really matter for ZayJay. He's going to kill them off anyway. And it looks like we're going to see some turrets go down, but they won't do nearly as much as a Seeker missile, which actually does 100 damage, which is pretty ridiculous. These marauders are going to come up, and they have concussive shells, so all these tanks are going to go down most likely. It's going to be pretty easy for these guys to just pick them off. A bit of an overstim there, but it's not really that awful, especially if it's to kill 7 tanks. These guys, I'm surprised that these tanks just didn't try to siege and fight them off, because there was no way they were going to outrun the marauders with stim and concussive shells, but they might have been able to deal a lot of damages. Lose this engineering bay. He just saw it burning and was like, nope, engineering bay, I do not feel like saving you today. And yeah, that engineering bay is probably going to go down unless this SCV can repair it. Oh well. We have Lemon finally upgrading. Where is his engineering bay? Where are you, engineering bay? Huh. I cannot find that thing. Oh well, he is upgrading finally, which is extremely late, considering the fact that it's just this infantry +1, and that's only weapons. He isn't even getting ground armor rank 1, and ZayJay is going for a massive drop up here to this expansion, I'm guessing. This planetary fortress is going to be able to take out most of that drop. No matter how good his marauders are, they're still going to get absolutely destroyed by that drop, and these turrets are going to come just a bit too late. Oh no, that's just one SCV. I thought that was going to be like 5 SCVs just rolling up here to build turrets, but nope. It's just one SCV slowly building his turrets up. All of these SCVs actually missing their repair, and a pretty nice split by ZayJay. He's going to be able to keep these Marauders up for 5 hits each, which is a pretty ridiculous amount. And I mean, he only lost 2 Marauders to take out that planetary. That is a pretty ZayJay favorite. That's a pretty ZayJay favorite exchange. He took out that expansion for barely any losses. I'm surprised he's going for this base, because he's just going to lose his entire army there. I think the better decision would have been to just take out the 6th, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, the 6th base, and then just pick up your Marauders and run, and just use some hit-and-run tactics to really snipe off these bases. Because he can snipe off most of these bases. I mean, he could easily snipe this one, but it doesn't really matter because it's not mining. It would be slightly more difficult to snipe off this planetary, but this is an orbital command right here, and that's kind of backwards. Also, it has a lot of energy. I'm surprised. Is he dropping mules from any of his orbitals? He's kind of, but not really. He needs to be using those mules to saturate these mineral fields over here by the planetaries. He also has a giant crop of AFK SCVs over here that just are taking a day off. He is pushing out with a lot of Marauders and a lot of Marines, but I don't think his army's good enough to contend with this. I mean, this is a lot of siege tanks, and despite how good Bio can be in TBT, it's just not that good to contend with this many siege tanks that are better upgraded than your Bio. He might pick off a lot of stuff here, but I have the feeling that ZayJay came out way ahead there, because now he just went through all of his resources essentially, and he still has this giant stockpile of SCVs up here, and this might be the key to ZayJay winning, because this is 24, this is almost 48 SCVs that were just idling there for a while. That was literally, I think, 2/3 of his worker counts, as soon as I can find the income tab. Wow! He literally just had half of his SCV economy just sitting here by his third. Now he's building more SCVs in there. But, you know, effectively going to go idle there. I think that this base is about to get sniped. Although I don't think I could really call it sniped, because there's nothing here to defend it. There's no real way to defend it. And Lemon is not macroing as well as he could be. He has 6 bases, and he's not being that effective with them. He just called down a fresh batch of mules over here, actually, which is an interesting choice, because I think this is actually the most mined out of all of his current mining bases, except for maybe this one. Actually, no, this one's way less mined out. He might just be trying to get rid of this, but it looks like ZayJay is going to snipe it anyway. He doesn't care. ZayJay going for any sort of... And he's going for a 4th, which is very important, but this hit squad might be able to snipe off a lot of barracks right here. These barracks aren't really that big of a pick-off for Lemon, but whatever you can get, you should take. If he can manage to get out of here before this entire army dies, and he will, that's a pretty good thing for Lemon to be able to manage. I'm wondering if we're going to see some sort of counter push out of ZayJay, and it looks like we are. His entire army just changes trajectory. I'm guessing that he's going to be coming up here to try to snipe off the 5th and the 6th, or, well, I guess now they're the 4th and the 5th. He's also stockpiling a reasonable amount of money, and he's maxed. I'm not sure if he's going for level 3 weapons on his infantry, so as soon as that finishes, I'm surprised that he didn't wait for that to finish before he moved out with his army, but I think he already knows that he's ahead in upgrades, and I think he knows that he'll be fine just running into a sort of situation like this. It does look like he's going to be moving over here to snipe off this base at some point. Maybe he's just going to go for the throat. This would be a very risky thing to do, because these tanks are just sitting here, and I think he's scanned them, and I think he knows they're just there. A lot of Marauders just getting picked off for no reason other than bad rally points, and all those rally points have been fixed. And these are a lot of Marauders coming up, but 2-1 Marauders are nothing compared to 3-2 Marauders. 3-2 Marauders will just tear through them. I'm surprised he's not going for some sort of like 3-3. Oh, wow, 10 Marauder production at a time. That's pretty ridiculous. He is going to lose a lot of that production, though, up here. as this entire section gets sniped off, and I think he's actually going to lose both of these bases despite them being planetaries. It's not going to be that hard for ZayJay to just push it and take him on out. So yeah, this is a very bad situation for Lemon. Despite how big of a base advantage he had, he really just couldn't effectively macro enough and effectively take out enough of ZayJay's army and just harass him to death. Because even if he had just managed to contain ZayJay onto 3 bases, he would have won. Because he would have been, 6 base versus 3 base. But all the counter drops against ZayJay, or against Lemon by ZayJay, just let him crawl his way back into this game, which is a pretty cool maneuver that ZayJay just managed to pull off. I'm surprised he's not going in for this 4th. Maybe he just doesn't know that that exists still. Does he? No, he does not. He sees the missile turret though. I'm surprised he's not just inferring based on that. But is he gonna finally move up there? Ooh, wow, a fusion core and 6 starports. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's what we call mass battle cruiser, and that's gonna be awesome. If he actually goes for like 40 battle cruiser, that might be one of the coolest things I have ever seen, because 40 battle cruisers it's just hilarious. I'm not sure if you can even get 40 battle cruisers in one game. I think they cost 6 supply, which would cap you at like 33 if you sacrificed all of your SCVs. So you'd be able to get 33 battle cruisers and 1 SCV to repair the entire batch. As he did manage to snipe off that 4th, I am actually going to be cutting this and going into part number 3. Part number 3 is probably going to be like a 5-minute video as we watch this game wrap up. So you guys can check out part 3 in the video responses to this video. It will hopefully be up extremely fast after this one goes up, so as you guys watch it, it should be no problem to skip right into part 3. So I'll see you guys in a bit.